Recorded live from the dungeon, this is the Dream Warrior Review, and I'm Kurt Thomas.
And coming at you live from the hills of Tennessee, straight from his Tennessee Hyundai,
I'm Mick Strawn.
Mick Strawn.
Hello.
Hey, Mick.
Hello.
Are you guys there?
I'm here.
How's it sounding on my end?
Wow, you sound really good.
Perfect. I had to.
Hello there. Hey.
Hey guys, is that Kurt?
Yep, this is me.
Hey, this is Jordan.
Hey, good to meet you, man.
You too. Thank you guys for doing this, and hope you're having a good weekend. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, I've quickly become a fan of yours because I stumbled onto a little movie called ThanksKilling, and then
Oh gosh,
watched a couple of your other things, and I appreciate your work because I just watched The Headhunter actually today.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you. Yeah. What did you find ThanksKilling in time for Thanksgiving, or was it or just recently afterwards?
Oh, it was plenty of time. In fact, we even put a little cherry on top and had George Cameron Romero review that with us.
We did,
Oh, nice.
And he loved it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean that, and we could talk about it if you want, but yeah, that is a funny story just because it was, we made it when we were 20 years old in college, with just like borrowing gear from the school, and just because we, wanted to go and make a feature film, so it was just totally like kind of a spoof of the genre, and it was a lot of fun to make, and it's just funny that it still has this little cult following going.
Nice little background noise there.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, there we go.
Outside.
No, it's okay. It adds a nice touch to it.
We can
actually
pause if there's some siren or something.
We got talking to George C. Romero about ThanksKilling, and
Okay.
we were laughing our balls off. I have to tell you.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
And if you guys were laughing, at it or with it or whichever way you look at it, we were laughing the same, and especially while making it, a lot of people say like, it seems like it would have been a lot of fun to make. And we're like, yeah, I mean, it was, we were in tears the whole time.
Yeah, I bet.
It's ridiculous. The turkey wearing a face and just the stuff that he says. And
the turkey wearing a face
Yeah.
was by far one of the funniest things I had seen in a long time. I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, we were kind of inspired by the holiday horror movies like Leprechaun and Jack Frost and those ridiculous B-grade movies where the bad guy talks, and like, or Freddy, and it's kind of like Turkey was kind of like Freddy meets Cartman from South Park, kind of. That was basically the inspiration.
Yeah,
and
I can totally see that.
yeah. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and it's just cool because I grew up loving that kind of stuff. I was just a huge horror fan, and I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and would just go to the store and rent, all of the cheesy stuff, good stuff too. But I'd always intermix it with some, cheesy Puppet Master movie, or just all of the horror films that I really liked. I didn't think they were cheesy at the time. My parents were like, "What are you renting this stuff for?" But I thought it was just good. I didn't know the difference, So it was just cool that was like our intention was to, for ThanksKilling to just fit kind of right in there with some of those other movies. We made it for pennies. It was $3,000 is all it cost us to make it. So it's just cool to see that it did kind of slip in there in its own way.
Yeah, it was. It's funny. There was one point in there where you were outside and there's this drone going on in the back. Going on in the background.
You know what that is, yeah.
Right.
And I go, oh my God.
The generator.
Yeah. You know what that is? That's a little Honda generator. That's what that is.
That's exactly what that is. And that was, we were shooting it like out just on my parents' properties, and because my parents were separated, so it was just like we kind of then had my mom's property in more of the suburbs, and my dad's out in the country, so we had two locations we could go between. And I was just like out in the front field at my dad's house, and he borrowed that generator from work. But we didn't have enough money or enough extension cords.
Or extension cords to get it away.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I swear to God, I said this, and I said this to Kurt when we reviewed it. And I said, I swear to God, when I finally talk to this guy, I'm going to tell him how to bump a generator.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what it. And I think we knew that it was like, oh, this sounds horrible, but we didn't have the choice. And I think part of us never really thought, like, we were kind of 50-50 on whether we were going to ever actually release this movie, or if it was just going to be kind of a joke with our friends.
Right.
So I think part of us were kind of like, this will never actually see the light of day. And then, and surprised more people don't actually talk about that, the production audio, because that was, really rough. Say what you will about the cinematography and everything else.
Yeah.
The audio.
The audio is horrendous. But
It's
you know
bad.
what?
That's part of the charm.
Yeah.
Right.
For some reason, as George puts it, George was sitting there listing everything that was really bad about it, and then he goes, "But you know what? You just can't stop but liking it." It's really true.
Yeah.
Don't always
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that, man.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys saw it and had a laugh. And it pops up for us every Thanksgiving. Someone comes out of the woodwork that has seen it or rediscovered it or wants to talk about it, or we'll see a tattoo that someone has of the turkey, and it's just always cool to see that.
Oh wow, that's deep. Tattoo. Oof.
Yeah.
That there was someone that did it right on their chest, and I was like, "Oh, that's
Oh
really
my
amazing."
gosh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it might have been laser removed by now, but
You know what? I have to tell you, with that, I was just recently. I did a film called Vengeance, Friday the 13th. Vengeance.
I saw that. Yeah. Well,
Now-
I didn't see the film. I saw that you'd done that. Yeah.
Here's the thing that's crazy about it, though. For one thing, it was a fan film,
Right.
and I have to admit, the popularity of it right now is just bananas. I mean,
Really.
it's the kind of the rough edit of it has been out for maybe 2 months, and
Okay.
and the smooth finished up edit was put out 2 weeks ago, and it's been seen over 600,000 times.
Yeah, it's all
Wow.
those Friday the 13th fans that are like, seething at the
Yeah,
mouth to see a Friday the 13th movie.
And,
I know.
And the thing is, when we were making that, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is so weird. People are just getting together and not getting paid for this.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
With no chance of making money off of it, no chance of owning it. That's
Right.
The downside
Right.
to the fan film. But then you get all this exposure.
Yeah, that's not only do you get the exposure, but if you're not doing it, I mean, I gotta admit that I have always loved making films. I mean, just
Yeah.
loved making films. In fact, I think that I would have made a lot more money in my career had they not seen in my eyes that I would have been there for free.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, though, is I could tell in that film that you guys were just having a great time, and now I more fully appreciate that.
Oh, well,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah. And that was the case of, just us doing it there for free and asking everybody else to do it for free and chip in here and there. And my parents make a crock pot of sloppy joes for dinner and whatever. It was that kind of thing. And it just came out of the simple fact that we just loved making movies and had ThanksKilling feels like one of those ideas that you joke about over beers, and then
Right.
you would put it away and you never do it. And then we actually went out and did it. And
Right, exactly.
kind of like an SNL spoof or something like that. So
Well, there was
I think
also-
probably,
There was also something about it, and this is kind of like on a bet between me and George. Did you shoot it entirely linearly? Did you shoot it in script order?
Pretty much. I think so. It's a good question. I think so, because probably at our age and budget, we probably weren't wanting to bounce around and do stuff entirely out of order. But I think there was some juggling around, because we would shoot the turkey stuff later in the day, like after the actors had gone home, so we weren't forcing them to stick around. And then some of them had some schedule things. So it was it might have been a little all over the place, but probably mostly linear.
It was all about the generator, right?
Well,
no, generators available.
Yeah, really, I'll bet. No, what I was thinking is that because it actually got better as it went along.
Oh,
I mean,
maybe.
I mean, there were like technical things at the beginning that were just, and then as it gotten all, it's sort of like the story was kind of coming out a little bit better as it came along,
Well, maybe we shot it at the ending first, and then we just got more sick of it as it went on. So
that's possible. That's possible.
I'm sure you're right, because we had made tons of student films just growing up and making home movies, and then we had done a couple shorts at school that were bigger budgets and bigger crews than what we had for ThanksKilling, but we were still pretty raw, and so I'm sure that there was a little bit of us becoming friends with everyone, bonding, and also just kind of figuring out how the turkey looks the best, figuring out, as you would know, Mick, like working with puppets can be a huge pain in the ass, and they all light differently, and they have their angles and lenses that suddenly start to come back to, and that's what makes that
and getting the character of them, and getting the people around them to sell it. I mean, that's a learning arc that Robert Englund and I have talked about over the years. Talked about special effects and how hard they are to act through. He's always said, acting through them is because for his case, I mean, he's all about expression and more than your average put a hockey mask on kill.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's always talked about selling the gag, selling the makeup, but not only that, selling. Everybody's selling that he's this horrible thing, or selling that that he's got these mouths opening, like he would always go into the effects shop, and he would wear the appliance, like the chests, the souls eating with the children, crying, and the thing is he would have to get into it in front of a mirror so that he would know what they looked like and how best to work with the operators to get it right,
Right.
Because
interesting.
It is a lot of work,
It is, and you can tell with him, or like any of the horror icons, or just some of those guys, is that they get so much more comfortable with it as the series goes on, and that when it's interesting, like something like Nightmare on Elm Street that's had such a helicopter's going by, but something that has such a fan base, and you see sort of horror clips or something that they'll pull together scenes and sequences and shots from the franchise, and they're usually pulling stuff from like parts 3, 4, 5, 6, where those guys are like in their prime with it. And,
right, exactly, yeah, right.
And I'm sure that in his case that's tricky, because Freddy's already kind of a big personality. Then he's got the makeup, so it's like trying to find the balance there. And
right. There is a reason that there are people that do these things again and again and again and again,
Absolutely.
Are you standing in the middle of a Mixmaster?
No, I do not know why there's a helicopter that's just flying around over here. And get it to go away. It seems to be circling.
Shoo it off, would you? Just shoo it off. Well, we'll move on to the next film in the canon. Let's talk about Critters.
Yeah, so speaking of fan films,
Yes.
and I don't know, there might be somebody on this call that worked on Critters 2, I think. I don't know, but that's
Right.
actually one reason that why I found this movie. I'm like, I gotta watch this, and then I told Mick about it. I'm like, hey, you gotta check this out, and then I think that evolved from there, as you know. So
Yeah.
we were very interested to talk to you about that.
I thought your fan Critters film was amazing. Really well done.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, I mean, as I told you, Mick, and we'll have more to talk about this, but yeah, I mean, that was Critters and Critters 2 were the movies that made me interested in aware of filmmaking as a kid, where I really started to just study credits and how things were put together. Hold on one second here. This is ridiculous.
It sounds
It's
like you're in the
literally
middle.
circling. I'm outside.
Hope you don't look like any suspects out
Yeah,
there.
really. I was gonna say, watch out.
Somewhere where it's. Okay, that might be a little quieter here. Is that sounding better?
There, that does.
Sounds good.
To get back to the.
Oh my goodness.
The one that I was.
What?
I have no idea what this is hilarious. I'm sorry, guys.
That the brown acid that is not specifically too
You
good.
want me to give you guys a ring back here in just a minute, and I'll get somewhere quiet so this doesn't interrupt?
That would be great. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Call us back. Hey, is Kurt there? Okay.
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, how you
just-
doing? Hold on one sec.
What the hell? Are you...
No, I'm on the phone. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
did.
I think he planned this, Mick.
Look,
I think
I
it-
feel real bad, guys. What is your schedule like? Later this evening or tomorrow?
How did you get out of here? If you're real, you better tell me right now.
How about you, Kurt?
If you're real, you better tell me right now. No.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we
is
can
that
do it
okay
around the
with
same
you
time.
guys?
Can it be let's see, 3?
Or earlier or evening? Anytime tomorrow I can make work.
Okay,
quiet.
you know what? Let me I'll call you. I'll check. I'll message. I'll message you.
It's not meant to be.
I'll message you in the morning once we get it set up. Okay. Hello?
Oh my god.
I'll message you tomorrow. We'll get it worked out. I'll message you, okay? Can you hear me? Hello? Huh. Kurt?
Yeah, I'm here.
I guess we'll have to message you. Yeah. Oh, no, he left.
He's probably hearing us. We just can't hear him. But yeah.
Hopefully
Okay.
his neighborhood doesn't
yeah.
get burned down. It does.
Right.
We'll get a
Sounds
hold
like
of him
it's a
tomorrow,
war
okay,
zone
man?
there.
Bye.
Yeah, sounds
Bye.
good. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.